Alright, set this up a little better than last time. I think that's good right there. Today I'm going to be talking about rowing and back work. Like obviously accessory stuff, because back isn't really a powerlifting movement except for deadlift, but that's more like a pulling movement. It's not rowing. How about that? Rowing. So when everyone always knows, if you listen to me and watch my videos, you know that I think the number one accessory, number one body part to help bench is back. Rowing double of what you push, so rowing a 2-to-1 ratio. So if you push, I don't know, let's just say 15 sets of benching in a week. So whether it's competition bench, obviously included with some incline dumbbell or barbell and some dumbbell flat bench, because there's no point doing competition and then not dumbbell. Well, I guess, yeah, so barbell Larson and some Spotto. Let's say 15 sets. You should be doing 30 sets of pulling. And 2-to-1 ratio doesn't necessarily mean 30 sets is double of 15. It matters how much reps you're doing too. So 15, however many sets that is, you can count the reps. Also, I think ultimately you should count the reps. Sets probably, but I think reps are better, because you can do 15 and 15 and just do double reps on back. I do chest and back in the same day, but you don't have to. So great components that people don't really realize, like, you know, the seal row, the one where you're laying on a bench and you're rowing a barbell or dumbbells. Like when you're elevated, you got to be elevated or else it's going to hit the floor. The dumbbells, for sure, the barbell. And it's better to do those with like some 25s or some 10s, or 35s at the very big highest, because 45s are too big and you're going to have less range of motion and you're going to have a super high platform to put the bench on. So seal rows. Underhand grip is what I want to talk about. Underhand grip with rowing, most people don't like. Most people think that underhand, like when it comes to pull-ups, like the chin-ups versus pull-ups, they're both chin-ups. Arnold Schwarzenegger used to call them chin-ups, and he would do pronated, as long as your chin goes over the bar. Chin-ups, people think supinated. Pull-ups, people think pronated. So supinated chin-ups, pronated pull-ups. But it's the same thing. So people think supinated rowing, let's just talk about pull-ups right now, whether it's weighted or body weight, that's all biceps and way less back and just emphasis on biceps. But when you do supinated on pull-ups, you got like way longer range of motion, like this versus like this. Like you're able to pull way longer and you feel it way more in your lats. Like there's articles on it, you can look up the benefits of pulling supinated. Just pull-ups, that's one example. And gymnasts, they do pull-ups supinated, the ones that are really good with their body weight, and they come out and they pull like that. So out and in, so it's like a lat pull down. So not just straight up, like out and in supinated. So even if it is easier, let's just say, you're able to do more reps with supinated. Supinated. So with supinated, whether it's pull-ups, so let's just say you could do pronated 10 pull-ups and you could do like 14 supinated, well, you did 4 more reps and you got more activation because it's a longer range of motion. So picture if you're on, let's just say, a hammer press or any kind of machine where you're rowing, where you're like your stomach is on a pad and you pull like this. The ones that are like right in front of you, the vertical rows, vertical, I guess that would be horizontal. The ones that's like right in front of you, whatever, isolateral rows, whatever kind of row it is, one hand or two hands, try it with supinated grip instead of pronated. Because supinated, you'll feel the same thing I just mentioned on the pull-ups. It'll be such a longer range of motion. And honestly, you don't really feel it in your biceps, besides pull-ups. And even if you feel it in your biceps, that doesn't mean it's not working your back more, activating it. Because when you're doing pronated, you're working biceps too. People just don't think you are. Like when you do reverse curls, that's pronated, you're still working your biceps. Obviously, it's more forearms and brachialis, but the biceps are still being worked. And when you're doing pull-ups, like lat pull-downs, pull-ups, any kind of row with your with a pronated, it's still working biceps. So the fact that you're working biceps with supinated, if it's a back and bicep day, if you're a gym bro and you like to do back and biceps, why not start off with obviously you're going to start off with back and end with biceps, but do some pronated before you get to back, so you're already warmed up for biceps. So supinated, sorry, do some supinated rows before you get to back, so you're already warmed up for biceps, and you're already, your biceps already know, because it's like this versus this, obviously, but I still feel it either way, pronated and supinated. You'll get a longer range of motion, whether it's seal rows, incline dumbbell rows. Those are amazing when you go on an incline bench and just row. Those I do neutral, but that one's kind of tough. That one's kind of tough to do supinated because you're going to hit. Pronated or supinated, you're going to hit the bench. So besides that one. But seal rows with the barbell, With the dumbbell too, it won't. I don't think it should hit the bench because you're elevated. Lat pull downs feels amazing. It's the same thing as a pull up. Supinated. Try it with supinated, and it's because you just. I bring this up because no one does like supinated rowing. Like it's just frowned upon. You just don't see it. It's very much like similar to the pullovers. You don't see people doing pullovers. Rope pull downs probably the ones where you're doing this, not the lat pull downs. The rope pull downs or just with a straight bar. Yeah, you'll see that. But dumbbell pullovers, that's very rare. People argue that it's chest or back. I say it's back because I feel it stretching my back like no other. It stretches out your rib cage, you know, your abs, your chest. No matter what it is, I guarantee it works some back. And if you want to count it as chest, whatever, just do them. Do them on chest and back day because I do chest and back, so it's the same thing. So I kind of count that as half, but I really feel that in my back. If your gym has a Nautilus pullover, that one too, to stretch out your lats, really expand them to get like more definition in them because those are very neglected. So dumbbell pullovers, Nautilus pullover if you have the machine, and then the rope pullover. Those two should be enough without the Nautilus machine. And rowing underhand. Just try it. I say try this. If you haven't done it and you're just skeptical, like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, it's not more range of motion, he's stupid, it doesn't work better than pronated. Think about it. We always use pronated, so we're never overworked on this because we always grip things like this. That's just how it goes. Like when we get door's neutral, but when we get dumbbells, we get it prone. I guess when we grab dumbbells, that's kind of neutral. But when we bench, shoulder press, row, lat pull down, squat, pretty much everything we do it pronated. Some people grab kettlebells like that too. It's rare to see your like self in this position. So biceps aren't even that important anyway because it's such a tiny muscle and that doesn't really help with the big lifts. But you're working them when you're doing rows, so why not work them more with supinated grip? Because we neglect the supinated grip like no other. This, we rarely do this. You know, deadlift, we do that, but that's not for biceps. We're doing that for grip. So try it like this. Yates rows, you see me doing them in a video, 45-degree angle and underhand, and man, you feel that way more than rows, especially if you do it after. Rows first, Yates rows after, because it's technically easier, yes, but you feel the burn way more. So you get more back activation, and it's technically easier, but it's not just biceps. That's what people need to stop thinking. It's not just biceps. It's like when I do Yates rows, I don't feel it in my biceps at all with the barbell. Don't do those with dumbbells. So with a barbell, supinated grip, 45-degree, and just you have a short range of motion. It's pretty long because like I said, you have a longer range of motion with supinated, and you're not bent over too much. Or you could do normal row supinated too. That would be a really long range of motion. So normal barbell rows, just try pulling supinated and some neutral too. Neutral's good. I'm a huge fan of neutral, like with pull-ups and all that. I prefer neutral. But yeah, don't just think of doing pronated outside. Think about it. We always do pronated. We're always using pronated, no matter what. Don't bench like that. Just back and row. Rowing stuff and back. Try that. Even like rear delt raises are kind of back because it's on your back. It's your posterior chain. Obviously, people think of those as rear delts. That's fine. But you could do those supinated too. I try those. Those feel amazing supinated. Or because usually people do those neutral rear delt raises, but supinated and even pronated. Just because those are two angles people don't work. I know we're focusing on supinated, but try supinated for rear delts and pronated. So what I was gonna say, if you're skeptical, you think I don't know what I'm talking about. You think it doesn't work. It's not more range of motion. Pronated is the best. You could try 4 sets of whatever you're doing next time, all the back rows you're doing. Let's just break it down pretty evenly. Let's just say seal rows. Let's just say, because no one does those. Seal rows elevated on a bench, and you're laying down like you're benching, but the opposite. So you roll that with the barbell, supinated, 2 sets supinated, 2 sets pronated. You could do every other, 1 pronated, 1 supinated, 1 pronated, 1 supinated, or 2 pronated, 2 supinated, or 2 supinated, 2 pronated. But I would say supinated should be last because it's like the weaker one. This is weaker than this usually. Well, I mean, I guess that's technically not true. Whatever you want to do, but I would say do those last. I say it's better to do the supinated, the last 2 sets. So every other or first 2 pronated, last 2 supinated on 4 sets of whatever you want to do on back on seal rows. So 4 sets of 15, let's just say. Or 12 just to start it off, or maybe 4 sets of 15 with the pronated because you're used to that grip, and then 4 sets of maybe 12 with supinated because it's harder because you're not used to, because we're just not used to rowing supinated. But I promise you should like it if you're open-minded to just different grips. Like we do different squats. We do high bar front squats, low bar. We do deadlifts, deficit deadlifts, RDLs, sumo. Some people do both. I do both. You know, you do incline bench, flat bench. Decline is a lost art, but people do decline or flies, dips. You do different angles. So this is a 100% different angle for back. So same thing. If you're gonna do lat pull downs, 2 sets supinated, 2 sets pronated, 4 sets of like 15. Let's just say average it out, and then the machines, obviously the machines, some are meant to hold supinated, where it's actually better if you hold them supinated. I would say hammer strength. Some brands are different. I'm not sure exactly. It's the ones with the pin where you don't plate load it. It's you put a pin, and if you've ever been on these machines, like it's like specifically for supinated, and you'll feel it. Like it's so much better. So if you don't want to do 2 sets and 2 sets of every exercise of pronated supinated, you could always do like a finisher, like the last 2 exercises. Let's say you do 6 exercises back. I don't know what people do, but for pronated, the last 2 could be supinated, and you could go into your biceps if you do back and biceps. I don't, but if you do, and if you don't do biceps, even better. You don't have to worry about doing the biceps after. But this will grow your biceps too, because when you row, you're growing your biceps as it is. But with supinated, it is more biceps than normal, but it's not just biceps like people think. It's a way deeper range of motion, and it's a lot like even when people do like just when you're curling like this, it's like a way bigger range of motion compared to doing this. It's like so much different. That's when people curl like that. And obviously it works different muscles, just like the rowing. It works similar and different muscles. If you're doing both, you'd be unstoppable in terms of arms and forearms, but with the rowing, you'd be unstoppable in terms of back. So try rowing underhand grip, and it'll change your back day. Just try it out. And yeah, just however you want, even if it's just drop sets, the drop sets only, if you do drop sets with supinated, just try it out and then adjust it to your routine, and you will love it. Don't just do it once and say you hate it. Actually try it for about a month, and it'll change your back pump. It'll change the activation in your back. So that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.